Hey everyone, it's Karen Donaldson here, and welcome to the Get Booked and Paid to Speak Masterclass series. And today I am super excited because we have the best of the best when it comes to intimacy. Today we have Alana Pratt with us, and she is an intimacy expert. She is a global media personality who awakens open-hearted, unapologetic living after heartbreak. Her vulnerability and courage landed her a featured weekly column on the Good Men Project, featured as an icon of influence, and as a guest expert on the Huffington Post, in People magazine, Forbes, the Jenny McCarthy Show, among other national media. This Ivy League grad is the author of 4 top-selling books. She's also the host of the edgy podcast, Intimate Conversations, and she is a certified coach. Alana, welcome.
I'm so grateful to be here. I love that we're Canadian. I love that you have, I think it's eyelashes that you have on the wall behind you. Did I get that right?
Oh, I did.
You just have like the best background, and I've been in business a long time. I have a lot to share, and intimacy is something we never really think about when we talk about business. But if we do not have an intimate relationship with ourselves, and we don't love ourselves, and we can't show up in the face of rejection, we can't be our fullest self. We can't receive our fullest worth. We can't charge our worth. We can't receive money. So it's all very connected. The inside always creates the outside.
Oh, I love it. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, everyone. It's how to eliminate the fear of rejection and build the speaking business of your dreams. So let's jump in. Is that okay with you, Alana?
Do it, girl. Bring it.
Let's make it happen. Let's talk about intimacy. It's an overlooked word, and once people think about it, there's 2 questions they're asked. Oh my goodness, I don't want to be intimate with someone else. And people don't even see the relation between intimacy and themselves as an entrepreneur. Could you explain things for us?
Yeah. For me, intimacy is this overarching way of being that has to do with honesty and transparency and vulnerability. Really being raw, really telling the truth. And so first we instantly, as you said, think about another bow chicka bow bow, like that's all we think about, intimacy, sex, and that's it. But what if sex is included in that umbrella? Okay. But also included and foremost in that is our relationship with ourselves. Do we have this little voice that pipes up and said, oh, but what if they reject me? Or, oh, what if they won't charge me my worth? And what do we normally do with that little, I call it like little me. What do? We hit them with a 2x4, shove them in the closet, say, shut up. And we just pretend that we're perfect, right? And so we could say we are emotionally unavailable to ourselves, which makes us very insecure, not whole, not feeling balanced and grounded, seeking our approval on the outside, giving our power away left, right, and center. So an intimate relationship with self is learning not just to love your triumphant looking good parts, but to equally love your wobbly, insecure, ashamed, afraid, maybe angry parts. Learning to be a whole human. Learning to unconditionally love yourself, not conditionally until you look better, love yourself. And when you have that intimate relationship and you spend the time and you do the inner work, and we'll do a couple tips at the end of this interview so you can begin doing that even better than you might be doing now. When you approach a client, when you approach a meeting director to speak, you don't need them to like you. You don't need this to go well. You can let go of attachment. You can let go of importance. You can just show up as your authentic self, which, by the way, is very inviting, irresistible even, because it's rare. It's very rare that someone can just sit in their truth and be willing to give it all, but also lose it all, risk it all to have it all. It's very powerful.
No, thank you for that. You just shared that your inner self is irresistible. And it just, to me, I said to myself, how often do we say that to ourselves? We don't.
Yeah, right?
We never do. We can say what's wrong with our inner self, but just thinking of it that way and then approaching situations, right? That takes on a totally different connotation, and what you attract to yourself by just feeling and thinking that way is limitless, essentially, right?
It really is. I remember when I first started to learn, I had an inside because I was so 3 steps ahead on the outside, trying to look good, people pleaser, like the whole thing, right? As soon as I went in on the inside, there were decades of emotions that I had never processed or integrated, all stuffed under the surface. And so when I first went in, it was hell scary. Like Niagara Falls was like coming over me. And so I needed help because I didn't understand how to integrate all of these emotions. I'm sure a lot of us have like, we just numb out on Facebook. Maybe it's an antidepressant. Maybe it's just, if it's like porn or let's just shop at 3 a.m. or whatever. We haven't been taught how to navigate intense emotions. And even worse, we've been taught that these emotions are bad. And then we think we're bad. And then that's when the self-abuse and the criticism and the self-rejection happens. Really, the fear of rejection is equal to how much we are rejecting ourselves. If we're actually willing to go, and I always do this little analogy. I put my arm around little you and I give her a noogie or give her a popsicle or give her a tequila shot, whatever she needs, right? Come here, honey. Like we talk and I bring her in. I lean in and go closer to the emotion. I don't go away from the emotion. I allow the emotion. I don't resist the emotion. I breathe. I don't shut my heart down or cut off my breath. Like I go into the fire and I just sit there. Now, it's not fun, I'll be honest. But it doesn't take a long time, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaths, stay in your prefrontal cortex, breathe, imagine this little you, start to acknowledge him or her. Hey, you have every right to feel this way. We're living our dreams. We're not just selling widgets here. We're putting our heart, our soul, our purpose on the line. This is big stuff. It's okay that you're scared. It's totally okay. You have every right to feel the way you're feeling. And I'm not here to fix you, change you, put you in a better mood, which is another way of saying how you're feeling is wrong and bad and we need to change. That's judgment. That's rejection. That's resistance. So you got to literally be willing 2, 3, 4, 5 breaths, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, but like you just sit there and you just resist the need to change and you just learn to love this part that you might have never been able to look in the eyes, never been able to love, never been able to accept. Maybe your mom and dad made that part of you wrong. Maybe your teachers made that part of you wrong. Maybe who you're married to makes that part of you wrong. I don't know. But it's our job to unconditionally love ourselves, wobbly parts and all. And something inside just goes, oh, really? Even like this? Scared and stinky, you still love me? Yep. And then something comes home. We could say a disassociated part of our soul or our personality comes home. We become more confident and whole on the inside, which means we feel like we've got our own back. I mean, I don't like being rejected. I hate that. I would prefer everybody loves me. Of course. I mean, I'm human, right? But I don't need it anymore. I can breathe through it and allow, oh, okay, you don't want to date me? You don't want to hire me? Okay, that's cool. And I might still have a little cry or need to go for a walk in nature and stomp around. I still have to work through my emotion, but I no longer leave center. I no longer abandon myself. I no longer reject and ignore and avoid my sweet little self that just needs a hug.
Right?
Yeah.
So when we can start to create and allow and stop judging how we feel, that's how we move away from the fear of rejection when we're reaching out as an entrepreneur, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And then you just start to focus from wholeness and fullness about the joy of what you can contribute and the impact that you can make. And you future pace what it would be like to sit in that room and make a difference and see how their lives are going to change. And then you just express that to the director, the speaking person, whoever is going to be hiring you. You're not in your head pulling away from them, pulling away from little you, hoping everything works out, attached to the result, trying to do it perfect. I mean, who wants to hire that person, right? But someone who's overflowing with exuberance and enthusiasm for what they're here to serve, with no attachment. So it's not like a used car salesman all excited about selling you the car. It's like, hey, this is what I do. And then it's collaborative conversation you have with the speaking director of the organization that you want to speak to. Hey, what would work for them? Like, you actually care. You're actually present. And that director will go, whoa, this is a different person. They're not just here to get the gig and get the money and get out. They're here to make a lasting impact on my community. Something inside them will feel, sense, be entrained into your resonance of wholeness, enoughness. And then, of course, once you get there, the actual speech, you won't be afraid of being rejected either, because you'll come again from that place of wholeness and you'll make the eye contact because you haven't been shying away from yourself. So you won't shy away from them. Maybe someone in the back's got their arms crossed and they're looking at you up and down, and you can even play and be humorous as you speak. And address the unspoken skepticism in the room and acknowledge it, just like you've learned to acknowledge little you. Hey, You all have every right to be skeptical of me. Who am I to be up here telling you something? And they're like, oh, she's listening, right? And you begin to build intimacy, not obviously the sexual kind, but the honest, transparent, vulnerable one. The thing that we all just want to feel safe to be ourselves and be understood. And so if you can be the embodiment of that and then bring that into the booking the gig, asking for the money, giving the speech, following up with your call to action, all of these steps along the way, who are you being? A lot of people change as soon as they start to do the offer at the end, right? They leave their heart, they leave the groundedness, they get all weird and they get all attached to the result. What if you could just stay heart open, present, grounded the whole time? It's worth the journey to be that person.
So, a question for you then. You kind of went straight into something I was going to ask about. One of the things, so we have speakers, either new speakers, those who have been speaking but who want to ask for more, or just mature speakers who just are ready to up level to 5 and 6 figure bookings.
Yeah.
Here's the reality. There's a lot of the time where we get the phone call, it comes in, and a conference coordinator says, and we've been standing in our truth and we've been having an authentic conversation, and the question comes, what's your speaker's fee? And we still want to get booked. We know our speaker fee may be $3,000, but what comes out of our mouth is $500.
Oh, that's never happened to me ever. Like years and years and years. Yeah. Okay. So
what do they do? How do they ask for what they know they're worth? Because that's all.
Such a great question. Okay, I have a couple tips. Never answer that. Always ask, what's your budget? So put it back into their court. Okay. So that's one thing I would say to do. Another thing, before I ever get on a prospect call with an organizer or with a client, I already write down on a piece of paper, like I have one actually, because I have a call later after this interview. Like I have it right here. And this is my next one, wonderful potential client who might come into my family, into my heart. I write down their name. I write down what I'm charging, my rate. I work out my payment plans. I have my package A and my package B. I have it all written out. And then I have where I'm going to put in the credit card. And then I put a happy face and I say, welcome. Like it's already done.
Yeah.
Already done. So that when I get on the call, I'm still unattached and open. I still have this little ceremony I do where maybe I'm a little weird, but I'm an intimacy expert, so I'm allowed to. But anyways, I make love to their soul. I let my soul and their soul, if this is meant to be for the highest good of humanity, I'm in. Like I really connect on the soul level, the energy level, and then on the business level, I write all this down, and then I just get unattached and open. And when they say, what is your rate? I go, what is your budget? And if they say, we're open, I go, super. And then I tell them what my rate is, and I make sure my voice ends on the down. This is like years of Toastmasters training, right? I don't go 3,000. It's kind of like on a date going, I love you. Like you're looking for them to say, I love you back, right? So it's not a question. It's not a question. It's a statement of certainty. So my rate is 3,000. Shut the fuck up. Oh, can I swear? Sorry about that. But okay, you just be quiet. You just say it and you end on the down and you put your feet on the earth and you open your heart and you just stand there in your glory. And maybe you wobble a bit, maybe you shake a bit, but you just shut up. And they're like, wow, that sounds great. And you're like, thank you. And then you put down the phone and you do the happy dance. Or maybe they say, oh, that's beyond our budget. Our budget's only $2,000. Well, then you get to choose. Then you get to choose. You're like, well, given that is 1,000 less than what my rate is, what else is possible that we could make up the difference? Maybe there's emails they could do. Maybe there's like other things they would normally not let you do that they'll let you do to interact and get people's contact information. Or there's maybe another way that you could generate that. Maybe they'd be willing to introduce you to some other speaking gigs so that you get, a walk into an event you really want to be in. You still want to ask for the value of what that 3,000 is, not just go, okay, right, and only take the 200 or something. And sometimes they're like, wow, I thought you'd be more. And you're like, damn, I could have, but then next time you can ask for 5, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer, because I think that's exactly what people want, the real life. What do I do in that moment? So thank you. But we want some more from you. Here's my next question.
Yeah.
What 3 steps can the viewers and listeners take to stop saying yes to free speaking engagements? And this is huge, where I always let people know that people treat you how you allow them to treat you. So how do they start? Just for me, it's mindset first, strategies after.
Mm-hmm.
How can they start to shift themselves and really own their worth and say no to the free speaking engagements and expect bigger ones to come? Because for them, it's like, I have nothing, I may as well take this. So their
Mm.
self-worth, that says a lot about their self-worth. How can we stop them from saying yes to the consistent free engagements so they can be bigger for the world and show up in a bigger place for the world and
Mm.
impact people? What do they
Yeah.
need?
There's a way that I like to work with my clients. A lot of people come to me obviously for relationship issues, but as soon as they start working with me, they start making more money and living their purpose and saying no to they're maybe living where they don't want to live, etc. So it's really the same conversation, whether it's love or money. And so the first thing is the way science works, the way the brain works, the way the quantum field works, is that we need to be able to create a new reality, not just in our mind's eye. So there's 4 elements. Yes, we need to see the image. So it has to be in our mind's eye, this new image of us speaking on stages, receiving the check, seeing the check, putting the check in the bank, like see it, okay? But that's only one of 4 elements required to truly create a new reality. The second element is the thought. So we need to be saying to ourselves, I am a paid speaker. I am always a paid speaker. I am so grateful to be a paid speaker. I am so grateful there's so many paid gigs coming to me all the time. I'm so grateful that even the ones that don't want to pay, as soon as they say, oh, but I'm a paid speaker, they go, oh, well, here's $500 or here's $1,000 or here's, I'm so grateful. Like, so the thoughts have to be there. Okay. And then also that's 2 out of 4. The third one needs to be the emotion. Notice that when we are in the old reality of angry and frustrated that we don't want to do non-paid and a little timid and trepidatious about wanting to be paid, what is the emotion? It's not love. It's not like joy. It's not exuberance. It's not enthusiasm. It's fear. It's fear and contraction and a little bit, maybe a bit of shame or embarrassment. So we want to be able to create that third element when we see it and we think it. Check in with your emotion. What does it really feel like to be a paid speaker? Oh my God, that feels amazing. Oh my God, that just feels phenomenal. Oh, I feel so alive. And notice the energy that comes in you, as you and through you. That source can use you as a vessel to inspire and uplift and empower others. Like there's an emotion with that. Feel it and feel it at a 10. Okay, 10 out of 10. So that's the third element. The fourth element is body sensations. A lot of us live in this world from the chin up, because we don't, as I said earlier in the interview, know how to navigate intense emotions. So let's just stuff our face with food or get on Facebook or porn or shopping or all the wonderful things we do. You want to feel the body sensation of what it's like to be a paid speaker, a well-paid speaker. Something happens from, are they going to pay me, to, oh, thank you, slap my ass. Yeah, there is a body sensation that occurs. And if you don't practice those 4 elements, you cannot, literally, scientifically, quantum field, it's not going to happen. You cannot create that reality. You're just going to keep trying through willpower and a good attitude and 10 more affirmations and exhaust yourself. Not that affirmations are bad, but it's just only one of 4 elements that's required in order to really lock in this new reality. So your practice becomes, before you get up with like your morning practice, and I hope you have a morning practice. Please have a morning practice if you don't have a morning practice. And I want you to do those 4 elements. So you see yourself getting paid. You see it all the way into the bank. You think, I am so grateful to be a paid speaker. I am so glad I took every step to this very moment and I never gave up, and I'm so receptive and it's amazing. Feel the emotion. Yes. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. Life is so abundant. I'm living my purpose. I'm being valued for who I am. It feels so joyful, and I'm exuberant and enthusiastic. And then go all the way to the body sensation. Like circle your hips, girls, or pound your chest, guys, or do whatever you need to do to get in your body. What is it like? Feel the earth under your feet on the planet. I am a paid speaker. Feel the body sensations along with that. And that is your practice. And then that vibration, that resonance, that oscillation is actually measurable. The quantum field is like, oh, we have a live one. Oh, we've got radar here. Hang on. We got somebody here at this level. Oh, paid speaking gig. So things will start to occur in your life. You still have to take action and meet it. The universe will show up half. You got to show up half. Okay. You still have to meet it. But the new vibrations of paid speaking gigs will begin to be in your reality, because you are actually in a new reality. You are actually vibrating at a new reality. It's how science works. So that's, I don't know how many steps that was, if that was 3 or 10 or 4 or whatever it was, but that's really important of how to shift that.
Thank you so much. So I just want to repeat what you said. So those 4 levels: see it, think it, feel the emotion and feel the body emotions as well. And what I like what you said was, you can't have one without the other. You have to experience all four. And then
To lock it in. Mm-hmm.
lock in, and you'll literally create what you want. And I'm a full believer of that as well. You create your reality and connecting on those 4 points.
Yeah.
Now you know what's been missing and what's been lack, or just not missing. What you don't know, what you don't know. But now
Yeah.
you know.
So in
so much for this.
In all transparency, I didn't know this either, the whole 4 elements. And I would do maybe 2 or 3 because we all do our affirmations. We all know to do our vision boards. We all know to, like, you know, get all happy. And so I would get inconsistent results until I understood about the 4 elements. Because even though I'm quite a successful coach, I'm also a student, perpetual student, always learning. So I always have coaches. And this is what I learned in my last certification. But one key, if you're doing all this and it's not working, and here's what I also learned in this certification, and I've always known as a coach over the years with intimacy, a lot of us do the fakey fake. We're feeling good. We're putting the emotion, but I call it sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone of shit. We're doing the emotion of I'm so happy, but underneath it all, we have not fully processed the emotional trigger of shame, of rejection. There's still something in there. And so you might get intermittent results, but what you really want to look at is, I still can't get past this trauma that happened. I'm still trying to do this to be good enough. I still don't believe I'm actually good enough. If there's still a wound in there, you must get support and get this emotional trigger, and not erased, because we can't destroy energy or create energy. We can only transform it, right? We know that from science. You really must integrate this shame into a capacity of forgiveness, maybe the pain into power, maybe the sadness into compassion. There needs to be an integration, an alchemy of that emotional trigger or trauma into a new capacity embodied in the moment in your life. That is a very big key. And most of you don't know my story, and I won't go into it now, but I went through a very long, like over a decade custody battle, and I didn't win. And it was humiliating and awful. And they made my purpose wrong. You know, you're an intimacy expert. You probably sleep with your clients. I mean, just horrific things just to make me shake on the stand. And my son was at stake. And so there was a lot of wounds inside. And there was a lot of little trying to be perfect and not let anybody know and be fake and everything. And I would get results, and then I would lose my money. I would get some success for a while, and then nothing. And it was a roller coaster, and it was exhausting. And so I walk my talk. I never gave up. And I said, I don't ultimately trust life. I want to, I really want to, but I don't know how to get there. And I don't ultimately trust me. And I want to, but underneath it all, there's still this low hum of terror. And so I kept learning and kept growing and kept taking on new coaches until I found these processes that I'm alluding to with the 4 elements, where the trauma is now stillness and gone. And the confidence is for no reason. And it's no one can take it away. So please, if that resonates with you, please contact me, because this work is important, that you put your message out on the planet. The planet needs you. We need your light. We need your inspiration. And we can't have these fears, these shames, these traumas stopping you when there's absolutely ways through this that work.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for sharing your story. And it doesn't end here. I know you have a free gift for everyone who's watching and listening. So could you share a little bit about that before we end?
Yeah, this is great. So you'll give them the link, right? Yeah. So basically this is chapter 1 of my 4th book. And the title is 7 Steps to Manifest Your Beloved While Staying True to Yourself. Now, guess who the beloved is? Yourself, right? Like, oh, if you are single and listening to this, I think it will really support you in attracting your ideal partner. However, this is really the path of coming home to you, which really eliminates the fear of rejection, which really helps you come from wholeness and this deep inner work that I'm speaking of with the traumas and triggers, learning how do I connect with little me? I just want to keep shoving her in the closet. Like, there's processes and there's ways that I take you through in this book. So it's a taster to see if this work, resonates with you. And I think it's great for everybody so that they can show up, receive their worth, ask their worth, have an amazing time being a speaker and inspiration on the planet.
Amazing. And everyone can get it right underneath. You'll see on his bio and the link to get the first chapter. Don't miss out, because this is truly the missing link, and people have the strategies, the system, and they don't know what it is. This is it. Alana, I thank you so much for your time. This was phenomenal. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Mwah.
Take care.